We're good.
All right, we're ripping it. Here we go.
How you doing?
I'm great. It's a smoky one today, man. 90 degrees and sunny, but it's fine. We've had rain this week, which I know I needed, but it's hot today. But it's okay. It's nice. It's a good day.
Yeah, that's a nice little coast to coast thing. I mean, like I just looked at the weather. I mean, it is as consistent as it could possibly be. And yeah, nice little going from what, like the 50s, 60s for you to all of a sudden 90 degrees.
Yeah, basically. And I mean, you grew up here. You know what it is. Virginia is just like that. It does these kind of. Pew, 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 pew. I wanted to ask you. I didn't get to ask you this yesterday. You sent me that picture. How hot was it yesterday? I mean, you looked like you had just met your maker. What was the temperature?
It wasn't that hot. It wasn't that hot.
That's
It, that
worse.
was that
That's
was
worse.
yeah. So I sent Joel a picture. Carrie and I kind of got away for a couple days, and I'd been putting off a good amount of gym work that I needed to do. So got back into the gym after a couple days of being out in some, wine country with the wife for a little celebration. And I was so excited to get back to the gym. I was so excited. I thought about going Friday night, late night. I was like, no, it's like, don't try to squeeze it in. Let's just go Saturday. And so I get in there, get through all like the strength stuff, just the lifting and kind of skills and things. And I get to like the actual, like kind of the workout of the day that we were doing. And dude, it hit me so hard. It was very simple. 6 rounds of 5 thrusters at 105, 5 burpees over the barbell, and then 5 toes to bar. And dude, yeah, let's just say like every diet decision I had made for the past uh, 4 days,
Yeah,
plus lack of sleep. Yeah, man,
yeah, you were
I
hurting.
snapped that picture and sent it to you. I said, why do we do this to ourselves?
I wanted
Remind me
and I
when
wanted
we
to
talk.
ask. I wanted to ask that because I actually think that's like such a simple, very real thing. You just said, "Why are we doing this to ourselves?" And then stop. Working out is so hard, and I thought it's such a simple question, but I didn't really know how to answer it. I was like, "Man, why do we do this?" Um, And then obviously you sent me the photo and you looked like you were just putting in work. Although you did say the workout was simple. It wasn't complex, but you did do 30 thrusters at 105 pounds, which that by itself is a brutal push. But yeah, so let's go back to that. Why are we doing this? What in our brain makes us do this? Why,
It's a good
why,
question.
why?
I mean, yeah, you do. I mean, we talked a lot about it on like the first episode. Like, why are we here? Like, we want to be, it's the competitive drive. It's you want to get better. You want to be healthy. You want to do it for your family. You do it for the community. Then there's like the sicko in you that all of a sudden wants to do it because like you think you're an athlete. And we are. We are,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
that's what we're doing. But the there's different stages of the curve that you could be on in any one given day. Like once you do this consistently, whatever it is, running,
Yeah.
lifting, sports, I think the thing that actually ends up getting you places is no matter where you are on that curve. And what I mean by the curve is like you could wake up and be like, I do not want to do any of this. Or you could be like, oh man, like today's like, can't wait to get to the gym. Or
Yeah.
like, I'm hungover. Or man, I
Yeah.
can feel like you and I have had a good couple conversations. You're like, dude, I don't know why, but I had a freaking burrito for lunch. And like, why am I going to the gym? Like, that was so stupid. So you can always be at a different place, but it's like doing it consistently is the thing that actually helps you progress and kind of get places and
Yeah.
feel accomplished.
Yeah, you texted me the question, and obviously I knew the context, and I tried to think about it, and I was like, I think for me it's this, and I sent this back to you. We like progress, so it is cool because you can see point A, and then we're traveling toward a goal. Um, we like to suffer and doing hard things that other people don't want to do. I think the last part is a big kicker. Is subjecting ourselves to things that other people don't want to deal with, because in that passage there's massive benefit.
Hmm.
I remember Mike Tyson said this years ago that he would set an alarm and he would go run in the middle of the night through the streets of New York at like 3 or 4 a.m. He'd wake himself up and just go take off running for a few miles. And he said he'd do it because he knew his opponent was not doing it. So I think about things that I push myself through. I'm like, well, hopefully there are some people competing within this world of CrossFit that aren't doing what I'm doing right now. Of course, there are other guys far ahead of me, but ideally you're chipping past that group of guys that, hey, maybe I can just get a little bit quicker than that guy today.
See, I'll know I'm in trouble next open season when like your wife's texting me and being like, Peter, this has gone way too far. Joel's out. It's 2 a.m. in the morning.
He's on the rower in the front yard.
He's doing burpees. It's
Yep.
3 a.m. Like,
Exactly. It's
you
going to
gotta
happen.
shut this down.
Yeah, this isn't healthy anymore. My other favorite thing you sent me last night, you text me and just remind me that I like this tomorrow. That was such a great line.
Yeah.
So,
And hey, to be clear, I needed to be reminded today. I was like,
Yeah.
woke up, I was sore. I'm tired. It's like a very like overcast, cloudy day here. We have so much stuff going on. And I was like, hey, remind me this is what we want to be doing.
yeah, remind me we still have fun doing this to some extent.
Yeah. So
Um,
speaking of like doing this and like what this is, we touched a little bit at the beginning of episode 1 on, the name of the show, like Chasing RX. And we got a couple questions from like our different friend groups. We're just like, you all need to like give me like an acronym list. Like if I could come up, I think a couple of our buddies were texting us, be like, I could come up with a sideshow on the things I don't know you all are talking about.
Yes.
So maybe just you want to like riff a little bit more on like RX and kind of like what it means to you.
Yeah, I mean, to make it as simple as possible, RX is the programming that you're in from your coach or from the program that your gym is membership of. RX would be the term of the workout that's put in front of you. No adjustments, and you're ready to go. Whatever the weight is, the running, anything put in front of you, yes sir, green check mark, off you go. Where any version where you shift, adapt, change, or sub movements or movement standards would be considered just scaling. So RX is, this is what I need from you, and to do it properly, to movement standards. And anything outside of that, and it's not a bad thing, but anything outside of that would be considered scaling in some way, shape, or form. And that's a simple way to look at it is, just little adjustments to alleviate certain tension points in a workout would be scaling.
Yeah. And like most gyms, I think program for like elite athletes instead of the opposite way. So like, I think you could think about like, hey, like if most people that come into the gym aren't elite athletes, why don't you program for them and then let elite athletes figure out what's plus? But I think CrossFit typically start elite athletes and then you just work your way down, which kind of always puts like this pinnacle, like this thing on top of the mountain, and it's always just kind of sitting there. It's just like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you like thinking about that? We've both been around gyms for a couple of years now. Like, why do we care so much about being able to achieve that standard? Like, why, like, when you were able to like, different gyms will be like, you RX your first workout, and like, they'll take a picture of you where, it's kind of this big achievement. Like, why do we care so much?
I think the simple answer is CrossFit's really hard. It's a very difficult thing. And I think getting to that position, it's such a moment of like self-achievement, I think, to have a realization, in particular for someone like me who didn't have an athletic background going into CrossFit. It felt so far away. So those first couple workouts where I was able to RX it, I thought like, man, I'm really proud of my body. I'm really proud of my body's ability to physically get through these challenging things. Because I wasn't athletic. I was a string bean. I mean, I was nothing. And just honestly, like hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of patience, listening to people that were better than me. It's just like, it's euphoria. It's the best. Like you hit a workout and you're like, I'm so proud of myself. It's just the best. That's why I care. It's like I had 34 years of no athletic anything because I had told myself and convinced myself that's not for you. You don't belong in that world. You have no business trying that. And all of a sudden you do something, you're like, wait, I didn't die. And these other people who I admire are like slapping me high fives like, dude, you crushed that. I'm like, did I just do that? It's amazing. It's just, yeah, it's like a high. It's just a weird like athletic high of like, yeah, I'm just really proud of myself. I don't know. For me, that's my answer. What about you?
I agree. Like it is definitely like, hey, like I joined the club today a little bit.
Yeah.
Or I did the thing that was expected of me and like I was able to do it. And there's a lot of times kind of early in going through CrossFit, like you find like a workout you can RX that like doesn't have a weight thing to it. It might just be like a certain amount of reps of like a burpee or something. And so it's like, oh, this is going to just really hurt, but I can RX it.
Yep.
Then there becomes this thing with wanting to achieve it. And this is where I found myself really stuck with programming in general is you go through your week and you're looking at the different movement standards of the weights. And it's like, hey, what should I be doing today? Like, do I let my ego like hit me at the door, catch me at the door and say like, hey, like I want to RX this workout today because I want to be able to do it. Like the other thing that you and I didn't mention is like most people have, or most gyms have these apps, right? That you're out there and you put in your score.
Yeah, we
And
haven't
if you
talked about
RX
this.
it, you get like a special little check mark. And everybody kind of scrolls through everybody's results.
Yeah.
And like most of the time it's just for like liking them, kind of like you're on Instagram or whatever. Like, oh, I like Joel's workout. He did well. You know, comparison. There's a little bit of like, he did this. I want to do better than him. I'm chasing this person. I'm trying to get, you know, better scores than that person. And so there's also like this big ego thing where it's like, hey, like I want to do that. But man, dude, it's hilarious to me. Like as a grown adult, like I can set my intention and be like, oh, this is what I'm going to do today. And then I kind of go into the gym and people start talking and it's like your ego just gets the best of you and you kind of lose track of like what would be the best thing for you that day, which might be something at like a lower weight or a different rep scheme or something. And it just takes over and you're sitting there being like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to, you know, RX whatever the thing is today. And then like you're blown up for the rest of the week or kind of throws you off.
Yeah, we've got one dude, David. He's the antagonizer. We're like, all right, we got our percentage. I know exactly where I'm stopping. He's like, come on, Joel, go more. I'm like, shut up, Dave.
The antagonizer.
He looks over. He's like, you know, Randy's not looking. Like, he's like, put more weight on. And I was like, I can't do that. He's like, just screw 3 reps. Go for a heavy one. Go a heavy one. I'm like, why are you doing this? But he's just being goofy. He's just being Dave. You have to know Dave to know. But yeah, you gotta know when to go and when not to go. And it's as simple as that. You gotta think about your specific goal, what's ahead of you, look at what's ahead of you in that specific week, as well as what's ahead kind of coming that you want to hit. Like I'm going to go for a 1 rep max snatch on Wednesday. And so I know I'm going to be very cautious with my shoulders. I was cautious today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. And I'm going to kind of teeter off of my efforts in my workouts tomorrow and Tuesdays to allow hopefully really fresh shoulders and feel springy and poppy for Wednesday. So you just kind of have to think about what you want to hit, when you want to hit it. And the more you're in it, you can kind of read those workouts and understand that in a better way. The first like 3 months I was there, I was just like, I just want to be in the room and figure out what's an EMOM, what's an AMREP, what's a WOD, what are these things you guys are saying? Once I figured that out, I can have a little bit more strategy, if you will.
Yeah. I gotta say, going back to the antagonizer, that's such like a good gym personality.
Oh, it's great.
And like
It's great.
it's good. Like it's like the like buddy who's like pushing you to do more, and like the antagonizer like are probably two different people, but they don't have to be, right?
No.
They could be the same
No.
person. Because it's the same energy. Like the other day, I went to the gym and one of my friends, we're always lifting pretty heavy together. I'm always kind of pushing him, like, what are you doing? Like, no, come on, let's like lift a little heavier.
Yeah.
I go in and I talked to you before. We were doing heavy, like 5 reps of front squats. And I was like, yeah, I'll probably end at like 200, 210 or something. And it was 5 sets, I think, for 5 reps. And I walk in, I'm like, hey, can I lift with you? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, all right, so let's start at like 135. And he was just like, psh. He's like, no, man, like we're building up to like 245, 255 today. And I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about, dude? And he was like, no, we're getting after it. And the thing I loved about that lifting session was I would have never tried the weight that I got up to
Sure.
that day. So I ended up failing at like, I got 5 at 215. And then when I went to 225, I got 3 out of the 5. But I failed.
That's
but
still
the
savage.
thing is, the thing is like if I didn't have the antagonizer / like gym buddy being like, hey man, what you gonna do? I would have stopped at like, I don't know what I would have stopped at, 205, 195, and just been like, hey, that was a good day, that was a good rep. And so that's that is like one of the fun things about the community, and like we have those different personalities kind of everywhere.
That is such I think maybe an unspoken, really specific value is the different personality types, because you've got those guys that you're like, I'm gonna get them. You got those guys that are important to have. You need to have them. Then you got the guys that are like, I'm gonna get you, but you're like friends, so it's kind of fun. It's like this kind of banter. And then you got the antagonizers who's like, go heavy, lift heavier, come on, more. You're like. So I think all those personalities are so great. Because it motivates you and gets in your head in a specific way that can be challenging, fun, exciting, adds to the community of it. It's fun. It makes for a good conversation piece. Although I'll say this, go back to your front squats. I love that you went super heavy. We talked about that. You're like, well, I got 3 and I failed the 4th. And I was like, great. That means that you were willing to get to that limiter. Because my biggest issue, probably the first 8 months, maybe even the first year that I was at the gym, was I was really, really afraid to fail a lift. And Tyler finally just said, man, like there's something really good about failing a lift, because that means that there was nothing left in the tank. You weren't operating at 90%. You were going for like 105%. And just that little extra 5%, yeah, maybe that was your failed 4th rep, but that's important to know that you were willing to kind of get in the fire and fight for that. So I think it was great. I love that you went for a super heavy 5 that you're like, I don't know, man, but we're gonna find out. That's super important. We need to have those moments.
And that's a good kind of coaching and kind of quote by Tyler, because knowing you're putting yourself into the position to do something you haven't done before or you think you could fail is a completely different mind space. Like if you know you can do something, if you've done it before, like it almost is comfortable. Is even if it's a heavy weight,
right?
You go and pick it up and you're like, oh, I know I'm going to complete this rep unless like my form breaks down for some reason.
Yeah.
But like pushing yourself into that space to continue giving yourself more headroom on like, hey, like how do I keep expanding? Mm-hmm. It doesn't just come overnight by like just doing it day in, day in, day. And you have to keep pushing those boundaries. And part of pushing is failing. And and careers or whatever, like fail and fail fast. Like, people, myself included in the gym, you're kind of afraid to fail things. You want to pick weights for yourself that are, comfortable, things you can do a lot of the times. And so like getting in positions that are uncomfortable and that you're going to fail and you can fail fast and kind of learn from safely, is I think just an awesome thing. It's good life lessons too.
I know one thing that you and I want to talk about specifically and try to keep this as like a linear thing week to week is our weaknesses, the things that you want to grow in, things that I want to grow in. And I think you speaking about heavy barbells is, I think I mentioned this before. My two big things are heavy barbells and double unders. Those are my kind of crux. Those are the things that really get me. And I have been trying to do both a lot more. I've been trying to look at a workout and think about a number where my insides kind of go, oh, that sounds miserable, and then do that weight because that's what I have to do. And I've been trying to do that more on Saturday teamers. It kind of feels like a good spot to do it because it's like it's me and Mitch. We're chilling. We're just doing the thing. I'm like, I'm gonna see what I can get done here, and believe it or not, it's in those weekends that I have found my ability to lift way more than I had anticipated. So that's been really beneficial for me. Heavy barbells are absolutely my weakness, although I feel like I'm getting better, hopefully.
Why like does the like team, is it like having somebody you're doing it with is like helping you like remove some of those like mental barriers? Like
No,
you have somebody to pick you up if you're gonna fail?
I think that is probably a thing. I think the bigger part is we don't register the scores for the teamers. So it doesn't have to get. It's not like
Back to the RX egos.
dude. It's sticking that number in and seeing everybody boop 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 boop, boop and then down there's Joel. He lifted 40 pounds. You're like, great. Yeah, I love scoring that. So through Monday through Friday, you're adding these scores, and you're not doing it just for others to see, but you are doing it for your own tracking. You do need to register these numbers so that you can see linearly where you're going and where you need to be for percentages and whatever. But on Saturdays, it's just like it's the Wild West. We're just gunslingers. We're just like, let's just throw some plates on and just get ham. And yeah, somehow it just helps my headspace. No one cares. We're just in there, 30 people all just chit chatting, enjoying the morning together. And those are when I'm like, I'm going to get a little uncomfortable. If I fail a rep, I don't care. Mitch will literally, he'll fire off his and I can rest a minute and try again. But in those moments, I found like I can lift actually way more than I thought I could. And which helps because then when you go into the week, the Monday through Friday, and there is a movement, I'm like, I've already done it. I actually know I can do it now because before I was like, I'm not hitting this number, but now I know it's there. I can get it. So
what do you think? Like, there's obviously some like fun competition community to leaderboards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think it's like a net positive for you or a net negative? And I ask because, I've started a couple months back working with Jason, kind of one of the coaches at our gym, programming, multiple specific workouts a week to work on weaknesses, just get better all around in movements, strength. And the first week I did it, like it kind of like hit me, was like, I'm going to do all this work and put it in. And like, nobody's going to validate it.
Yeah.
Like there's zero validation. There's
because you're programming.
Most of the time I'm doing it by myself.
Right.
At the gym.
Yeah.
And then nobody knows what I'm doing. And then I put it in, and Jason will obviously, I think, build, the next week off of like how I did, tell me to progress or whatever. Mm. But there's no like alert on my phone telling me like, oh, Joel Donovan liked your, your lat pull down EMOM. You know what I mean? And It is an interesting thing about CrossFit, about trying to RX things, about the leaderboard, that's like, it kind of has this psychological effect that you want to do better and you want to do the work to have like a little bit of like those high fives virtually or in the gym.
Yeah.
Like how do you think about it? Like if your gym said like, hey, leaderboard goes away tomorrow.
Yeah. That's such a tough question. That really, really is actually a difficult question. I do think that the leaderboard or the Wodify app as a whole, where you're kind of registering everything and tracking things, man, that's tough. I think it's important. I think you should have it. And I think how you as the individual athlete respond to that is based on your own personality type. I've seen and heard a bunch of different people kind of talk about that, how they either feel or process what's in front of them through the leaderboard. Um, for me, I'm maybe either the smallest guy in my entire gym or maybe bottom three. So for me, there's not much ego to have. Like, what do you know me? What do you expect from me?
Bottom three and like weight, like BMI.
Body weight. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm right now 167 pounds today, and majority of the guys are north of 180 typically. Um, so for me, I'm like, what do you think I'm gonna lift? Of course, I'm not gonna be your top five guy. But that doesn't mean I can't go in there and compete on workouts, because then you have gymnastics, you have ski erg, running, row, like whatever it is, burpees, box jumps. Like I can find my place, but I do think leaderboards overall are important, because I do think that it keeps you accountable, and you kind of need to know where the best guys are, right? Because that's the point. We're not showing up there just to be mediocre. We are trying to improve ourselves in some way, shape, or form. So I think they're important, although the personal kind of you absorbing that information kind of goes down to you. It's how your personality, how your ego, your personality, your emotions get in the way, or they don't get in the way.
Yeah.
But I do think they're important. I think it's helpful.
Yeah. I thought about that last night when I was doing that 6 rounds for time workout.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like pushing really hard, but I was also feeling like sluggish, wine
Yeah.
sluggish or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, would I be pushing just slightly harder if there's already a posted time?
Yeah. That's a great
Like
question. Yeah.
if I had already seen a time, because like I'm just creating my own drive for this, my own internal, as hard as I can go. But then would there be a little bit more if like I was looking up at the clock and I knew when I went to pick up that thruster barbell again, I had to like, I only get 2 breaths, because if I take 3, like the time's going to get away and like I'm not going to be able to, catch back up to Joel's score.
Yeah. Yeah, and that could be a full episode, but talking about, because our classes are programmed hour by hour, your early athletes are the first ones, your 5 a.m.ers are the first ones to put the score in. And everyone else through the day is chipping to beat them. So they're the most vulnerable athlete, if you think about it, right? And then the 4, 5, and 6
Vulnerable in terms of like getting their score beat, like they're
exactly,
setting a
exactly.
they're
They come out
planting
there.
the flag.
Yeah, yes, that's the best way. They put the flag down. So everyone else goes, all right, Ben did this, Robin did this, Faraz did this, Steven did this. Like, here we come. And then the rest of the day, we're all working to get them. So all that, shout out to the early people. Y'all are taking the risks, man. It's tough. Those early risers are tough. Hey, outside of heavy barbells, we're talking about some double unders real quick.
Okay.
This guy just Sunday morning hit 20 dubs unbroken.
Whoa, let's go.
Liz was there to witness. Liz was sitting there looking, and she's like, oop.
She's certified it happened.
You can question her. You can hit her in the comment section. She witnessed 20, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. I felt my legs kind of felt springy. I was. I'm sure I'll continue to talk about my difficulty with double unders in weeks to come, but Tyler gave me great advice. I was obviously trying to get better every week on them, and I'm trying to do that really good, nice, tall, kind of just pike jump, that really just springy but very linear jump, and really trying to work on the form. And Tyler could tell one day I was frustrated, and he's like, you can do an ugly double under. I don't care. You can do the little donkey kickback thing. And what he's like, I don't care. Because what will happen is, even if you do those for a little bit, as you get better, you will begin to repair that damage, kind of like ugly jumping movement. Mm-hmm. He's like, don't be afraid of that right now. Today, that's okay. You just need to get them done, and then we can kind of shift. So since then, I'm like, I'm not going to worry about how ugly or stupid I look. I'm just going to get these things out the way. So I'm sure they're ugly, but I got 20 of them, so I was happy.
Well, I need to see a video. I need to send over a video. Let's check it out.
I promise you, I will get you a video this week. I'll send it your way. You can see it.
Okay.
So talking about my ugly double unders, how are you doing upside down?
Upside down. Upside down's going better. It's
Good.
going a little bit
Good.
better. So yeah, I don't know. Did we talk about it at the week one? I don't think so.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, I had I've never gone upside down. So I've done a wall walk. So I've climbed up a wall. I've like, tapped my nose to the wall, but I've never done a kick up and kicked up and just been hanging out upside down.
Yep.
And I think it's a mental thing for me. Like, I'd like convinced myself that it just wasn't a necessary part of the sport, really. Like, I was like, oh, there's like ways to scale without doing handstand push-ups. I know you and I talked about it, and I was like, oh, it's probably a dangerous movement anyway. Like, just like, like you don't need to program it. And so I just kind of like avoided it. And I remember I was at the gym back in Richmond, at pushing weight with you, one like Sunday. And I remember I got my first bar muscle up like that week or like that day or something. And we were talking with a group of us. It was a really good community group. And like, we're just chilling, talking about things. I was like, yeah, I've never gone upside down, never kicked up onto a wall. And everybody was like, right, now's your time. Let's go. We got this, man. And what proceeded has haunted me to this day. It was like 15 minutes of friends and people that, I like a lot, watching me try to fish my way up onto the wall. I think I ended with 3 grown men grabbing my legs and putting me up on the, like, just he's like, hold on, we'll do this.
We don't have to talk about this, Peter. This sounds traumatic. Sounds awful.
So I held, and then they're like, oh, let's do it again. I'm like, I'm good. Like, that was great. We'll practice this again.
Yeah, I'm going to go home.
Never practice it again. And so Jason put it in my program. I kind of put on there like, hey, I've never done handstand push-ups. And so he puts like just these wall kick-ups. He's like, do a wall kick-up hold. And I had it on like my program for Saturday. Friday, I like tell Carrie, I'm like, Carrie, you need to come to the gym and like help me with these things. Like, I didn't tell Jason I couldn't do them. Like, not that like I should have, but it was just like,
yeah.
Honestly, I was embarrassed, right? I was like, I don't know how to do this movement. So Carrie's like, okay, cool. Like, I'll help you because she can obviously do them very well. And so Carrie jumps up and she's like, okay, so this is how you do it. And goes, boop, boop, and just like does a handstand.
Good for her.
And I was like,
good for her.
I was like, that's great. But like, I don't know what the right analogy is for telling somebody you can't do something and then them just doing it and then being like, so just do what I did.
Do that. Yeah,
like how stupid I felt.
Yeah.
And so long story short, my embarrassment balloon got popped pretty quick because out the door when Carrie was showing me this, Jason walks over and Carrie goes, hey, Jason, this guy can't kick up onto a wall. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, okay, thanks. This sport will keep humbling me till every single week I'm in it. And so Jason kind of helped with some like frog handstands where instead of like full extended arms, I just kind of tucked my head into a mat and kicked up. So I did those for a couple weeks. Those looked pretty good. Still had some hilarious floppy flops, but last night actually at the gym, we did eccentric handstand, like come down.
Descents,
so like
yeah.
You kind of kick up and just slowly kind of move your head down to like 3 ab mats, 2. I was supposed to go past 2, but I didn't. I just like stayed at 2.
Yeah.
And like that kind of worked. I did them, and like there was still kind of hit or miss. Like I was still kind of getting the movement feeling, but I'm here to say I've gone upside down. I can kick up onto a wall. I can descend. And hey, we're making progress, my friend. We're making progress.
Like I told you this advice. Coach Mike told me. I was like, how do you get better with like handstand walking and handstand push-ups? And he's like, be upside down. That there's no tricks here. It's like you want to be better in that position, then get in that position. Just sit there. Even if that's just you sitting on a wall for 30 seconds, just do that and you will get better. It's just how it works.
Yeah. It's really the intention, right? Having the intention to do the thing versus like hoping the skill will come.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I've taken away the most from working with Jason is like I have all of these things I want to get better at. Being upside down, overhead snatches, being stronger, ring muscle ups, all these things. And just putting in so much work and intention into those things into your week to week. That's not just like doing more fun WODs.
Yeah.
Like it's like doing like little movements that like doesn't really feel like it's adding up to much. Like I'll be sore, but like it's like, oh, I'm doing this pull down or kind of doing these dip things and like whatever that isn't like showing up on a leaderboard today, but it's like the intention is there to kind of produce an outcome down the road, which is to me a lot of fun. Like it's just kind of started to shift my brain on like how I think about the sport a little bit, is being more intentional in like all of those little things to get a better outcome versus like being like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna keep like trying to knock down the door by just like trying the thing over and over and over.
That was such a good way you said that, is that you can't just show up and just hope that a movement just all of a sudden is in your arsenal. It just doesn't work that way. You do have to be so intentional with breaking things down, understanding the actual geometry of what needs to happen to get it done. That was straight up spitting wisdom. Um,
Speaking of
workout of the week. What do you?
oh yeah, workout of the week.
Yeah.
So workout of the week really
What was-
actually for me pulls in so many of the themes that we are talking about here. This thing was simple. Okay, it looked simple. Okay, so you're gonna do like 15 medicine ball cleans, and then you go over and do 3 burpees and a muscle up. Think like the total amount of muscle ups that it ended up being was going to be, you'd end up with like 25 muscle ups, and the wall ball weight was 30 pounds. And so we're about to get going, and Adam, the owner of CrossFit Tustin, was like right in front of me, and he like looks at me and goes, "Man, 25 muscle ups is a lot of muscle ups."
Yeah.
And my friend right behind me, Andrew, had just been like, "Dude, I'm definitely I think I'm going to scale the muscle ups." It's like, nah, I was just like, we got this. Like, you're fine, dude. And then Adam looks at me and goes, "It's a lot of muscle ups." And then I was like,
It's a lot of muscle ups.
I was like, oh shoot, like that's not great. Oh yeah, it was 5. So it was 5 rounds of 5. So
5 5, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it was like two burpees, a muscle up, 2 burpees, a muscle up. And I was like, man, I want to RX it. Jason was like, hey, do the muscle ups. And man, got into it, did the first 5 muscle ups, go back to the wall ball, get back to the round or the 4th muscle up, I barely made it. And then the 5th one, I just like freaking smacked my chest and like failed it. I was like, well, it's like, that's how we're getting on the scale train. We're getting on the scale train. Right?
You were doing your muscle ups like like a cluster of 5 unbroken, like just.
You would do two burpees, muscle up, 2 burpees.
Well, I got you. So they were individual. Yeah. Okay, I'm always so impressed your ability to cycle muscle ups, because it's one thing I can't figure out. There's some cadence there. That's another episode. Anyway, good work.
Yeah,
good work.
It starts by you not having a big old Chick-fil-A chicken arm, and that'll be the that'll be the start of you being able to string those together.
I got a long way to go.
Long story short, I end up scaling 5 4 3 3 3. So I ended up scaling the muscle up volume down. But it was such a wanting to be RX, also realizing in the moment I wasn't going to be able to get the movement done and the work done. So I was like, okay, I'm going to scale this instead of being stubborn and just like taking the whole time, because the stimulus of this thing is not supposed to be me just like trying to like keep grinding on these muscle ups. But also just a good ego check, because it was like, I just told my friend, I was like, Andrew, I was like, we don't need to scale this. And then Adam was like, this is going to be intense. And Adam's like a legit athlete. And so
yeah, he's a beast.
It was a good one. It was a good workout for sure.
Well, good on you. I mean,
yeah.
That's
what do you got?
A ton of muscle ups. Mine it was Friday's workout. And for me, initially going into it, I was like, the workout's whatever. Wall balls and wall walks. Doesn't matter. I was wrong. But what I wanted was the squat cleans. I wanted to do...
Can I say something? We need a button. Like, I need like one of those like, and I was wrong. Like just some sound.
Okay, sound like little sound bites. Yeah.
They like, we had some thought and then something else ended up happening. We just need we need a name for that.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. Obviously we talk we talk outside of these conversations. We'll have plenty of time to talk. So I want to do squat cleans. That was the accessory work. So we did accessory and then a WOD. Squat clean was 2 squat cleans every 2 minutes for 6 sets. You're going to do 12 reps total. And I was like, I want to do body weight, because you sent me that challenge a couple weeks ago, and I did 5 from the hang. So 5 from the hang at body weight. You did yours, and you sent me the video, and I was like, well, I got to see if I can keep up. And it was hard, but I did it. So I knew, I was like, I want to be there. So I did the 165 and I was like, hell yeah, I felt great. I was like, that's awesome. I was like, all right, let's go do some wall balls, whatever. What I didn't realize was it was literally Karen. It's 150 wall balls with, what is it? It's 15 reps and you drop the ball and you have to do 3 wall walks. So it's basically Karen plus 30 wall walks. So I was like, oh, and Tyler was the coach, and he goes, by the way, this is gonna really hurt. He's like, this is Karen far worse. And I was like, oh no. Because in my head I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. He encouraged us, he's like, build a rep scheme which will allow you to be able to walk the rest of the weekend. And so I was like, okay, so I scaled it. I did
Not intimidating at all.
I was like, okay. So we line up. I picked a 16-pound ball instead of the 20, and I did 12 reps instead of the 15 for the 10 rounds. But still, I mean, 120 wall balls, and I was doing 2 wall walks, not 3. But that was a good workout. 1, because it was just a solid workout. And 2, the stimulus was so humbling. I finished round 2. And I remember I dropped the ball and I was doing my wall walks and I just thought, I don't know if I can endure this. It just sucked. Like the sweat was pouring, lungs were loaded up. But I had Mitch, I had Joe with me. Who else was with me? Ashley Jenkins was there. I mean, it was a good squad, and I was like, we can just do this together. I'll be all right.
Where did you end up resting the most? Did you like always do your wobbles unbroken and then rest after the wall walk?
No, I would rest. I would rest twice. I would go, so the early rounds I'd do my 12 unbroken from my wall balls. Then I went to a 6 and a 6. So I would go 6, drop it. I would walk like a little micro circle and then grab it and do my other 6. And then I go straight to my wall walks. And then after wall walk, I would breathe and then grab the ball, go again. So my breaks were between wall walk to wall ball and then one gap between my set of wall balls in the later rounds when I was really fatigued. So that was it. But it was challenging. It was good. Going in thinking squat cleans was what I would fight through, but really it ended up being the wall balls and the wall walks.
Yeah. I love that.
It's fun. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to this week. Good job by you. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's something I want to talk about a little bit next week is the thing that I love about CrossFit, and then also I love about having different friends in different areas that do it, is how relatable like just doing one thing is. Like I know that stimulus you're talking about, how it felt, and then I love just sending you things or you sending me things. It's like, hey, I did 5 reps of this hang squat clean at my body weight, and then you being like damn, like I wonder if I can do that. And then all of a sudden I get a video of the vice versa, the back and forth. It's so much fun.
And I know we're going to wrap up here in a second, but it does make for such great conversations too, because I had a buddy on the Echo bike next to me when I was doing those, and he was like, because it wasn't programmed at my gym, it was just I went in extra that day to do it because I wanted to try. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, oh dude, I'm going for 5 hang squat or squat cleans from the hang, unbroken, can't let go of the bar at body weight. And he goes, oh, he's like, that's gnarly. He's like, dude, I can't do that. And I was like, really? And Will's so strong. And he's like, dude, I can't do that. So then I was like, well, I've got to do it. But those type of things are so fun because you have these conversations that just, it's not even affecting his day. And he's like, oh, what is that? What are you going to do? Oh man, he's like, that's sick. I was like, dude, I got to send it to my buddy. He sent me his, I got to do mine. So it just makes for such great dialogue and encouragement and challenging conversations. There's always that's the thing I think I like the most. There's so much to learn. You can be there every day and someone will show you something that's so valuable or cool and you can learn it. So anyway, keeps my brain very active.
Love that, dude.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's good catching up. I know we both have a ton of things to go knock out. So good job by you. Good talking.
Love you, buddy. Always fun.
Watch that RX button this week.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the week. I'm going to RX one of them. I don't know which one. I'll pick one. I'm going to hit it hard.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it.
Yeah. All right.
All right, bro.
Talk to you later.
Next time. See you.